Hey guys, thanks for stopping by and seeing old Steve-O today. Thought I'd show you guys my traps. You guys are doing a little trapping out there. I used to do little nuisance control trapping, mainly raccoons and possums in my area. I did that little gig for a couple of years. Anyway, I had too many irons in the plate. I had to give that one up. But also had a guy, friend, that he took over this guy's business. He had research animals, and he was buying and selling monkeys and all kind of stuff, and possums. And what I was doing is trapping for him, catching possums. He was buying my possums up. They had to be 5 pounds or bigger, and he'd fly them out of here. He'd make cages up, a one-shot cage. He would put it together, put 4 possums in it, and fly them out of Tampa, out of here, to someplace. He never would give up that info. Anyway, yeah, he was shipping them out all the time. It was a cancer research center he was sending them to. And I wanted to show you the trap. Every once in a while I'll set up live traps and take out some coon that have been trying to get in the chickens and tearing the place up. I've got tons of them here. Also possums too. Anyway, here's the trap. This trap, the mechanism on it is similar to what you'll see out there, like Williams traps, a couple different outfits. The release, the floor pan, and all that. But my door system is kind of unique in a way that I wanted to put a trap together where a guy wouldn't have to buy a welder. Okay, that was the mission. So I had a welder at one time, and I ended up moving and I had to sell it and all that stuff. But anyway, then when I got back into trapping nuisance animals, I had to come up with a way. I really didn't want to buy another welder. I had really no use for it. Because most of those, the high-end cages are made with the 1/4-inch round stock rod welded up. And so anyway, here's my trick on it. See what you think. Let me know what you think. And here's what I got. This one here, this trap right here, I had about 50 of these things. Okay. And what I've got here is, this is round stock rod, 1/4-inch. There's a fender washer here and a fender washer here. All I did was got my measurement. You want plenty of slop here, okay, on each side, because this is going to come up like this. And then it's going to drop, and it's going to hit that. All right, now let me open this up and show you. I've got this bar in here going across. These animals have no problem stepping over that. You would think, oh, there'd be caution. No, they don't. You need that in there so when this door comes down, it don't go all the way inward, okay? And inside here, you'll notice here, there's this bent rod here, coming up and down and working that pan right there. It's just a chain on it. There is a washer here, fender washer right here, and I drilled through, this nail really needs to be longer and kind of made in an S scenario, bend it in an S. This one is nipped off. It does work, so I've left it. And to hold this rod up here to pivot, all I've done, taken 14 gauge tie wire here, here, and here, 3 points. This locking mechanism here, you'll notice, 1/4-inch rod. I drilled 2 holes through it here. I came through with a regular roofing nail, galvanized roofing nail. Put it through, put it on the anvil, and peened it over, as you can see. I peened it there and there. Now, you'll also notice there's a small, right here, there's a small, I took a rat tail chainsaw file and put a small, little dimple in it. And on the door, this is the unique part of this, because most of them have washers that fall. They're all welded up and they've got washers that fall down here. Different scenarios you see. This one I like because when you set it, let me get this thing set for you. Hard to do with the camera and all. We'll go over this in a second, okay? Now, there it is set. There it is set. And what happens, this pin right here, when this door drops, this rod hits this pin. Okay, so it doesn't, so it can stop there, because I don't want it going past, because if it falls down further, obviously the door would just swing. He could grab it and push it out. So that's that. All this this wood is ancient. This trap is about 8 years old, believe it or not. This thing has been through 4 wars. I mean, I can't even count the coons that I've caught in this thing, coons and possum. And house cats. This thing will catch house cats. I'll give you the dimensions here in a minute. But what this is PT fur stripping. That's all this is. I put one screw here. You can put a little glue on it. And I had these come up flush with the top and the bottom of the trap. These horizontals come over, as you can see, and just one screw down through. And then these little, I don't know, eighth by half steel. You could use aluminum here if you wanted to. That'll be sufficient. And just one screw, and to avoid this screw, I went in and shot it on an angle, okay, to keep from hitting the vertical screw. That's that. Fender washers here. Like I said, I just put this on an anvil, smashed it flat. I put the washers on so that comes out. Well, what you want to do each time you set this trap, see this one floats back and forth, center it. That's all. All right. Yeah, they have no problem stepping over that. I've had a lot of people question me on that. They say, oh, they won't go in there. They're going to see that. No, they walk right over it. No big deal. Here, I've just thrown in a couple pieces of tie wire. Here and here. This trap is light. Okay, these coons will get pissed. They'll grab it and flip it upside down and dig the bait out. So what you do, you take either tie wire to a sapling in a tree if you're in the woods, or take those fiberglass rods and run down in, one here and one here. That'll stir you that trap right up. I just, for a handle, just some, I don't know, 9-gauge galvanized wire I found and put on that. So yeah, I'll just fire this off in the floor here. Right here, you want to put a plate back here. And I found what this is old sign material. Stop sign material, or any type of sign material. It's about, I don't know, it's about an 1/8 inch thick. It's pretty beefy. They've never tore it up. Yeah, but you need that in there, because what happens, they'll dig underneath. And because I've got a sardine can that sits back here. So you just take a stick and you put the sardine can on that pan, and then you shove it in with a stick all the way to the back. And that's where it sits. You don't have to do anything special with it. You do need the 1/2 by 1/2 on here, so they don't reach in and get it. And it's best to run it all the way up, and it's best to run it all the way maybe to here at least, to keep them from reaching in and tripping your trigger and all that. So here, I'm going to fire this thing off right here. I'm going to drop a stick in here and come over here so you can get a shot at it here. And it don't take much pressure at all, and bam, down. All right, so that's that. Let me fire off some numbers for you here. This thing is 1 foot high. It's only this trap is only 8 inches across here. This trap is only 8-inch wide, and the trap is, I think, 30. Actually, the wire is 28 inches. This wire, this trap is 28 inches long, and it's a light trap. This thing will catch. I have caught coons as big as this trap. I mean, they fill up the whole trap. It's amazing how that animal could stuff himself in. I've caught him so big it can't even hardly turn around in this trap. Yeah, so you catch the smaller ones, and you catch the big ones too with this size trap. Now you might want to go 10-inch, you go 12-inch, you want to catch bobcats. Make this thing 15 inches high by about 12, at least 12, and I'd go about 36 long. You can create this whole thing any size trap you want. Set this guy aside. If you guys got any questions on these traps, let me know. But these traps here, they're easy to build, and I mean, you can make these traps and sell them, or you can do nuisance control trapping. These traps right here, with all this hardware, I bet you, and if you got access, somebody's got sign material or aluminum like this, is great. Because if you don't, I have done them with wood. I put them in with wood and covered them with wire. But the coon are so strong and so vicious. I mean, this trap is. Matter of fact, I just put that pan back in there. He grabbed it. He pulled that chain, ripped that chain out of there. But you may go through. You may take 10 coons. And then you'll come with one, he just rips the thing all to pieces. See, but it's all fixable. You just put in new tie wire. It took me 10 minutes. I rigged it all back up again. It's ready to rock and roll. So that's that. But I have been having some rat troubles and some, I've been having a little rat trouble and squirrel problems, okay? Gray squirrel. Now, this is another one. Now I've got to go down, I've got to get some little fender washers and put on here. I'm going to take these nuts off. This little, I don't know what this is, 8 or 1/8 inch, I think, all thread, a couple little brass nuts on it. So I made a miniature version of this trap, and I've made these before. But yeah, this thing, and this actually, what this thing is actually is a I haven't put one in to pull back. I don't think I'll need it for squirrel or rats, because they're always going to push. But coons, they will grab and pull and this and that. So only thing I think I need here is, you know, pushing out. Now, I didn't put wood on this one. You could put this wood on here. And I forgot to tell you on this one here, I take those small horseshoe nails, those real small ones, and I tack the wood, the wire to the wood. So there is horseshoe nails on the inside in here holding this wood in. I've got, well, there's one right there. See what I've done? I put them in there. So you bring the wood slightly past this wire here. Okay? You don't want the wire sticking out. You want the wood out past just a little bit. You can see that's about 1/8. That's all you need. So adjust that and then hit it and knock in these horseshoe nails. That'll give this all thread, I mean this round rod, coming up and down so it slides on the wood. Okay? So that's that. So same version. All I did here to make the treadle, I put in the little piece of wire, and this was like 9 gauge aluminum wire, and I ran across here. All I did was bend it, and then I put it in with the I use these. You get these hog rings, I think 6 something a pound or something. I got at the feed store, and I think these guys are stainless. I've had these pliers, I can't tell you how many cages I built with this thing. It's got a spring-loaded, you know, hog ring thing. And that's what you put this together with. So I bent that around, and then I hog ringed it there and there. I took a piece of 1x1, same as the side here, 1x1, and then I put a piece of half by half on top, hardware cloth. And then I made the same situation. I took this same aluminum rod, wire, and I put it along there and made that deal there. Now let me set this one for you. I left this top out. I've got the top here. And when I built, when I was, you know, rigging all this up, this is spreading apart. So I wanted to hold it together on this door assembly. And then last thing, I will come in and just hog ring this down, completed trap. And what I'll do is set a little empty, I've got some empty sardine cans I will put in the back with some corn in it, whole corn, and put a little peanut butter for added attraction for these rats. Okay, so they'll go for that. So let's set this thing. I'm going to set this camera down. I need 14 more hands here. Okay, there she is set. And what I did here, this aluminum rod, it was so sensitive. This thing was very sensitive. And I took a rat tail file and went in and just hit a slight little bevel there. So we'll just set this thing off for you here. Let me turn this around, get the camera shooting down through there so you can see me. And he's going to walk up here, and he's going to walk, and see how sensitive that is. That thing is so sensitive, a rat will touch that off. And you just play with these things until you get the sensitivity where you want. You may have to get the sensitivity where you want it. See, I put this dead center. On this one, I put all the way in the back, okay? You just play with them till you get your sensitivity the way you want them. And this happened to work out right. And this is just a little light chain, and then I just bent a loop here, and just a piece of 14 gauge tie wire there. That's all. On the door, you can see, actually, this here piece I put on. I bent it, and I got it where I wanted it, and marked it with a Sharpie. And then I clamped it on with vice grips. And I JB welded the sides of this thing, right here, okay? So I JB welded the sides, and that held that. I didn't have to do any drilling or anything. So this would be a nice little trap. Over here, what I did, instead of the wood holding things, I'm using the wire, the aluminum wire. And you can see what I did here. I just bent this up. I had to keep tweaking a little bit. And I bent it over and around, and I did the same thing here. So now that's trapped in there, it can't get out. And this rod can only come down to this point. It can't go clear down to where the door will fly open. So yeah, that's my spin on it. I've been using these things for, oh man, 20 years, probably 20. Catching critters with these, and they work great. This is a good tool to put in your toolkit. You can make these things, sell them, get into the nuisance control business. What you do is you call them up, FWC, Florida Wildlife Commission, or wherever you're at, whatever wildlife commission you have, and tell them you want to be put on, if you want to do this, put on the list. There's a lot of guys doing it. You can get into, these raccoons are tearing up houses, and they're getting in attics and stuff. You can go in, you got skunk problems and this and that. Yeah, you can catch these critters and do this on the sideline. This is what I was doing on a sideline. And so you tell them, you know, you got to have an occupational license. I'll go down to county building, get an occupational license to do this. But they'll put you in a rotation. And me too, me being a beekeeper, you get the nuisance bee calls too. But I've got enough bees. I got out of that whole thing. I just trap for fun now, and I trap meat for the brothers. I was trapping a lot. I was a meat trapper for a long time, catching coons and possums, selling those. Made some good money. I was making, and then I was also trapping soft-shelled turtles on a long line. I was making right at just on a sideline basis around averaging $200 a week just playing with this stuff. So there you can make money doing this. So anyway, this is, I haven't seen this system, this door. Now this mechanism here with the rod and all, yes, that is on a lot of traps, but I haven't seen anybody doing this type of a door lock scenario. It's a very simple system. So there's 2 traps you can build, and I hope this helps you. Shoot me a email, whatever, and let me know if I can help you on anything. Very simple trap. You can do it, and I will catch you guys on the next show. Be happy. Bye-bye.